Hello and welcome to the Cameroon GCE Maths Panel on YouTube. Our team consists of certified ordinary level and advanced level teachers and markers from the different regions, and our objective is to provide corrections, tricks, shortcuts and hints on questions and answers in 1/3 of the allocated time. To get a copy of the question paper or any other thing, you can email us on gcemathspanel@yahoo.com or gcemathspanel@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment, and to watch. You can equally send us a WhatsApp message on the number on screen. Let's now begin with the first question of paper 1, June 2018. So the question reads 1/3 of 24, that is 1 minus 1/3 of 24. This is a BODMAS or PEMDAS problem, and we have to start with the off. So we have 1/3 of 24 giving us 8, and 1 minus 8 gives us -7. So the key here is D. Don't waste your time on a simple question like this. Use the time to answer the other 3 star questions. Question 2, we have the value of the digit 2 in 1.025 is, here the digit 2 has value. Let's see how we obtain the value of 2. 2, the number in front is replaced by 0, copy the decimal point, and the number before the decimal point is replaced by 0. So the value of 2 is 0.02. This is the same as 2 over 100 or 2%. Similarly, the value of 5 is 0.005. The key here is C. Question 3, the number which can be added to -3 to give 15 is, here you are just required to solve for x. So -3 plus a certain number, x, will be equal to 15. Carrying the -3 to the right hand side, that is adding 3 to both sides, gives us x to be equal to 15 plus 3, which equals 18. B. Don't waste your time doing maggot bust the calabash. It won't help you here. Question number 4, we have, in a certain room, the temperature at 6 a.m. was -7 degrees Celsius. By 7 p.m., it had increased by 9 degrees Celsius. The temperature of the room at 1 p.m. was, so you just need to add the temperature difference to the initial temperature. That is, -7 plus the temperature difference, which is 9 degrees Celsius, gives us the temperature at 1 p.m. to be 2 degrees Celsius. The key here is C. Question 5, 1 1/4 expressed as a decimal is, just convert the 1/4 to a decimal and add 1 to it. So 1/4 is equal to 0.25 on calculator, and 1 1/4 will be equal to 1 plus this 0.25, giving us 1.25. Or you can equally convert 1 1/4 to 5 on 4, that's an improper fraction, and on your calculator you have the answer direct as 1.25. So our key here is D. Question 5, the product of 0.005 and 3.112 corrects to 3 significant figures is, so on the calculator, 0.005 times 3.112 gives us 0.01556. And now, the only first known 0 digits are the ones which are the significant figures. So here, the first significant figure occurs at 1 because it's the first known 0 digit. The second significant figure is the first 5, and the third significant figure is the second 5. But it is going to be affected by the 6 after it. So we round it up to 1 and add to the 5 to have 0.0156, and our key here is D. Question 7, 0.00875 can be written in standard form as, recall that the standard format is a times 10 to the power n, where a lies between 1 and 10. That is, a is greater than or equal to 1 and strictly less than 10. N being an integer. So we will remove the decimal point such that the number has the form 8.75 times 10 to the power a certain number. So let us see how we move the decimal points. Moving it to the right once, we have times 10 to the power -1, twice times 10 to the power -2, and thrice times 10 to the power -3. This number now has the form 8.75 times 10 to the power -3, and it is now in standard form. So the key here is B. Question 8. Greenwich Mean Time is 1 hour behind Cameroon time. When Cameroon time is 14 hours, GMT is normally you know very well that GMT is the international date line. You have done this in geography as well. So GMT is 1 hour behind Cameroon time. When Cameroon time, for example, is 2 hours, GMT should be 1 hour. And now, if Cameroon time is 14 hours 30, then GMT should be 1 hour less, which gives us 13:30. So the key here is C. Question 9. In the simple interest on 150,000 for 2 years at 4% per year is, simple interest is written as principal times rate times time. For simplicity, simple interest is written as principal times rate times time divided by 100 when the rate is per year. But note, if the rate is not per year, the formula will not be correct. So this gives us 150,000 times 4% times 2. And when we simplify, we have 12,000 francs. That's the simple interest. The key here is B. Question 10. Loom, Siri and B shared 60,000 francs in the ratio 7:3:2. The amount received by B in FCFE is, here we have to note that B receives just 2 parts out of the total number of parts. So her share is given by the 2 parts divided by the sum of all the other parts, that is 7 plus 3 plus 2 times the total amount that was shared. And simplifying gives us 10,000 francs. So her share was 10,000 francs, C. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and to comment. And you can email us on GCE Maths Panel at gmail.com or yahoo.com. And don't forget, you can equally send us a WhatsApp message. Question 11. The shaded region in the Venn diagram in figure 1 represents the set notation by. This is a simple question since primary school or in your grades 5 and 6, and equally in grades 6 to 10 and so on. In fact, you have seen this question all the time and it's direct. So this actually represents P and Q combined, which is P union Q, B. Question 12. In a party of 50 persons, 30 ate chicken. 10 ate both chicken and meat. Given that everybody ate something, then the number of persons who ate meat only is, we will start by drawing a Venn diagram to illustrate this. And the key here is to always start with those who ate both. So we have chicken and meat. Those who ate both, we have 10. And then now, the number of people who ate only chicken should be equal to, remember that 30 people ate chicken, but inside this 30, 10 ate both chicken and meat. So the number of people ate chicken only should be 30 minus 10, which gives us 20. Now, let the number of people ate meat be x. When we now sum all of these values, it must give us 50. So this gives us 20 plus 10 plus x to be equal to 50, and x to be equal to 50 minus 20 minus 10, giving us 20. So the number of people ate meat only is 20. The key is B. Question 13. In the following sentences, an example of a statement is. So let us analyze them one at a time. The first one is, I wish today will be Sunday. Here, nothing is linked to Sunday. No day is linked to Sunday, so it's not a statement. B, where are you coming from? Who is coming from where is unclear. Who is coming from where is not actually a statement. Then, drive that car. Here, no one is linked to an unknown car, so it's not a statement. And D, Lillian has been promoted to Form 5. So the only statement here that is a statement is Lillian has been promoted to Form 5. Lillian is defined and is linked to a set of classes which is Form 5 and is also defined. So this is a statement, and the key here is D. Question 14. Given a function defined by h equals 3 on x into x minus 1, find the domain. The domain of a function is a set of all the real numbers excluding the values of x which makes that function undefined, or the values of x that will make the function to have a value of infinity. So when you have a function of this form, you have to equate the denominator to 0, solve for x, and exclude those values of x from the set of real numbers. That gives us the domain of the function. So we have x into x minus 1 equals 0, x will be equal to 0, or x minus 1 will be equal to 0, giving us x equals 1. So we are going to exclude these two values from the set of real numbers, and that will give us the domain. So the domain is a set of all real numbers excluding 0 and 1. The key is A. Question 15, we have g of x equals 2 minus 5x on 2. find g of 4. So g of 4 just means to substitute the value of 4 into that function. That gives us 2 minus 5 times 4 on 2. So when we cancel out, you have 2 minus 10 giving us minus 8. So the key here is D, which is minus 8. Question 16. Figure 4 shows the line 1 parallel to line 2 and the line 3 is a transversal. The angle marked X is, so the angle 50 corresponds to this angle which is shown on screen, 50. And the sum of the two angles is 108, giving us X to be equal to 180 minus 50, giving us 130. So the angle X is 130 degrees. The key here is B. Question 17. The sum of the exterior angles of any convex polygon equals, this question is direct. The sum of the exterior angles of any polygon is equal to 360 degrees. No stress. The key is B. Question 18. The total surface area of a cube of height units in square units is, so if a cube has unit height, then each side is 1 unit. Thus, we have 1 unit side, the other side is 1 unit, and the total surface area will be given by length times width times 6, because there are 6 faces. So this gives us 1 times 6, giving us 6 square units. The key here is C. Question 19. Given that the volume ratio of two similar cubes is 8/27, the ratio of their length is, recall that ratio can be written as a fraction. And note that the volume ratio is the cube of the side. So it's side times side times side is 2, side times side times side. So if the sides of these two cubes are A and B, then their length ratios can just be given as the cube of the volume ratio. Just cube both sides. And this gives us the cube of 8/27 to be equal to 2/3. This one saves time. But let me show how this is done. So the working is, the volume ratio is given by A times A times A is 2, B times B times B. So that gives us A cube to B cube. And our A here is 8. Our 8 is A cubed, and our B cubed is 27. So our A will be equal to 2 and our B will be equal to 3. So the length ratio will be 2:3. So the key is D. Question 20. The number of edges of a cuboid is, the GCE board even repeat questions most of the time. Recall, most of the times in class you call the edges as the lines. So let us count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So happy counting. Imagine somebody's dad counting 1, 2, 3 in an examination hall. Alright, so this gives us 12 edges. The key is A. To get to us, don't forget to subscribe, click like, to share, and you can email us on GCE Maths Panel at yahoo.com or gmail.com, or send us a WhatsApp message for any inquiries. Question 21. Given a rectangle, the number of lines of symmetry is, so a line of symmetry is any line that divides an object into two equal halves, which are mirror images. So for a rectangle, we have just 2 lines of symmetry, and these are the 2 lines. We have that 1, and we have 2. Any other line is not a line of symmetry. Look at this line. This line is a diagonal. It divides this shape into 2 equal parts, but the 2 equal parts are not mirror images, because if I fold this shape along this line, one side will not fall exactly on the other side, so it's not a mirror image. That's why we have just 2 lines of symmetry. So the key here is B2. Question 22. The angle marked X in figure 3 is, from circle theorems, angles 43, 47 and X sum up to 180 degrees. So X plus 47 degrees should be equal to 180, and X will be equal to 180 minus 47, giving us 133 degrees Celsius. Sorry, 133 degrees. Alright, question 23. The length of a rectangle is twice its width. Given that the width is y centimeters, then the area of the rectangle is, so area is length times width. In this case, our length is 2y because one side is the length is 2 times the width and the width is y. So 2y is the length and the width is y. So area is equal to length times width, giving us 2y times y, and this gives us 2y squared. Key is D. Question 24. Given that the diameter of a circle is 14 centimeters and using pi equals 22 on 7, find the circumference. Circumference is the same as pi times diameter. That gives us 22 on 7 times 14, which is equal to 44 centimeters. Recall that circumference is also the same as 2 times pi times radius. Our key here is D. Question 25. The area of the figure shown is, actually this is a trapezium, and the area of a trapezium is given as the sum, half the sum of the parallel sides times the height. Here the parallel sides are 10 centimeters and 14 centimeters. That gives us 10 plus 14 times height, which is 7. And when you simplify, this gives us 84 centimeters. You can equally divide the shape into parts, but that will waste time. So this gives us 84 centimeters squared. Question 25. The straight line that passes through the point 1, 3 and has gradient minus 2 is. Note that the equation of a line given 1 point x1, y1 and the gradient m is given by y equals m into x minus x1 plus y1. So in this case, we put in the values. We have minus 2 into x minus my x1 is 1 plus y1, which is 3. Open out the brackets. I will have minus 2x plus 2 plus 3. That gives me minus 2x plus 5. C. Now question 27. The distance between points M, 5, 1 and N, 2 minus 3 is. The distance between points M, x1, y1 and N, x2, y2 is given as x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. You can write it in any order. So this gives us 5 minus 2 squared plus 1 minus 3 squared, giving us 9 plus 16 square root, and that gives us 5 units. C. Question 28. The equation of the shaded region in figure is, that is the shaded region can be represented by. Now you notice that the boundaries are included. So this can be written as x lying between or ranging from minus 1 to plus 2. So it's written as x greater than or equal to minus 1 less than or equal to 2. And that gives us B as the answer. Question 29. The coefficient of t in the expression this is a direct question. The coefficient means how many t's. Here, 1 t is the same as t. So the coefficient of t is 1. Key is C. Question 30. The expansion of x minus 3 into x plus 4 is. So recall this expansion since from 3, from 4, from 5 we have been doing this expansion. So this will be the first element, the first set times all of the second set. So we have x times x plus 4. Now minus 3 times all of the second group, second bracket. So that gives us x plus 4. We now open out the brackets. X times x is x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 12. This gives us x squared. We can simplify. You have like terms. 4x minus 3x is 1x and then minus 12. So this gives us a key to be B. B. Don't forget to subscribe, to like and to share. You can get to us on GCE Maths Panel at gmail.com or on WhatsApp. Question 31. Given that AT equals C plus B, express T in terms of A and B. So here we have to make T the subject of the formula. That gives us AT is equal to T plus B. We now bring the T to the left hand side. We are left with AT minus T equals B. Factorizing out, we have T into A minus 1 gives us B. And dividing both sides by A minus 1 gives us T to be equal to B all over A minus 1. And the key here is B. Question 32. The value of m for which 4m plus 7 equals 3m minus 4 is. So we just have to solve for m. We have 4m plus 7 equals 3m minus 4. So 4m will be equal to, we bring the 3m's to the left hand side and carry plus 7 to the right hand side. So 4m minus 3m gives us m to be equal to minus 11. The key here is A. Question 32, given that x minus 2 is a factor of f of x equals x squared minus kx minus 4. The value of k is, if x minus 2 is a factor, then f of 2 should be equal to 0. So we say x minus 2 is equal to 0, solve for x and x gives us 2. We now use this 2 and substitute in the function and equate to 0. So f of 2 should be equal to 0. So this means 2 squared minus k times 2 minus 4 should be equal to 0, and 4 minus 2k minus 4 should give us 0, and this gives us 2k minus 2k is equal to 0, and k is equal to 0. The key is B. Question 34, the interval notation for x strictly greater than 1 and x less than 4 is, first of all, we have 1 and 4, and x lies between 1 and 4. So we have 1 and 4. For x strictly greater than 1, the boundary is not included. So we have that interval symbol. And for x less than 4, the boundary is equally not included. So it's still open. We have that symbol. We now put a comma in between. So that's the interval notation. That gives us D. Question 35. Evaluate z to the power 5 times z to the power minus 3. Well, from the first law of indices, the bases are the same, so we just add the power since we are multiplying. That gives us 5 plus minus 3, which gives us 2. So we have z to the power 2. The key is C. Question 36. In the geometric progression, a half, y, 8 on 9, the value of y is, since this is a GP, the common ratio is constant. Thus, y divided by a half should be equal to 8 over 9 divided by y. When we cross multiply, we will have y squared to be equal to a half times 8 on 9, giving us 4 on 9. Taking the square root of both sides, we will have y to be equal to 2 on 3. That's the positive square root, since the GP seems positive. So our key here is D. Question 37, given that y varies inversely as the square of x and that y equals 1 when x equals minus 2, then the equation connecting y to x is, so this is inverse variation. Y is equal to a constant all over x squared. So we find k and we look for k when x is minus 2, y is 1. So we substitute to the equation, we have 1 is equal to k all over minus 2 squared. So we have cross multiply, we have k to be equal to 4. So the first equation now becomes y equals 4, because k is 4, all over x squared. So our key here is C. Question 38, the transversal network in the following is, when you look at the figures very well, the only place where you have a transversal is the rectangle. You can see the transversal, the line that crosses. So the only transversal network here is the rectangle, which is A. Question 39, in the figure shown, the value of x is, here you can waste your time and do Pythagoras theorem. But note that for a rat is a right angle triangle. The triples are, if one side is x, for example, let us look at the triples. The first one that is in form 2, you have 3, the other side is 4, hypotenuse is 5. If you multiply all through by 2, you have 6, 8, and 10. So the value of x must be equal to 6. The key is D. Or you waste your time doing Pythagoras when your friends already have the answer, D. Question 40, the value of cos 30 degrees is, this is an angle that you use all the time in form 4 and form 5. The value of cos 30 degrees is just root 3 on 2, or on the calculator, you have 0.866. So the key is B. To get to us, don't forget to subscribe, to click like, and to share to other classmates and friends so that they can equally improve their grades. And you can send us an email on GCE Maths Panel at yahoo.com or gmail.com, or a WhatsApp message. Question 41, the line KLM in figure 7 represents ground. KLM represents the ground. The angle of depression of L from N is, this angle is measured from the horizontal at N. That is, the angle of depression is measured from the horizontal. So this is the angle representing the angle of depression. And it is equal to 90 minus 54 degrees. And that gives us 36 degrees. That is the angle of depression. So we have B. Now, given that A equals 3i's plus 4j's and B equals I minus 2j's, then the absolute value or the modulus of A plus B is, the first thing to do here is to find A plus B, then the magnitude or the modulus. So A plus B will be equal to 3i's plus i's. We add the i's, then now plus the sum of the j's. You have 4j's plus minus 2j's. This will give us 4i's plus 2j's. Now we have to look for the magnitude, which is giving us the magnitude of A plus B should be equal to square the I components and square the j components. That gives us 4 squared, which is 16, plus 2 squared, which is 4. That gives us the square root of 20. And square root of 20 is the same as the square root of 4 times the square root of 5, which is equal to 2 root 5 from simplification of roots. That gives us C as answer. Question 43. The vector diagram OA is equal to A and OB equals B. BE is equal to 2 times OA. Find AE. So vector geometry once more here. AE is equal to move from A to E, you have to move from A to O, and then from O to B, and from B to E. But we know that from B to E is the same as 2OA. So I've replaced BE by 2OA. And vector AO is negative A because it's in the opposite direction. OB is B plus 2AO, that's 2A. When you simplify, you have A plus B. So our key here is A. 44, given that the determinant of the matrix is 0, that's a singular matrix, find the value of x. So we find the determinant and equate to 0. So this gives us 1 times minus 4 minus 2 times x should be equal to 0. So minus 4 minus 2x equals 0. And minus 4 should be equal to 2x. Dividing both sides by 2, we have x to be equal to minus 2. Our key here is A. Question 45. Two matrices P and Q are such that P Q equals I. Note that I is the identity matrix. So if two matrices are such that P Q equals I, then one is the inverse of the other, where I is the identity matrix. So P is the inverse of Q. The key is B. Question 46. The transformation matrix M, where M equals that is described as. Here, just note that any transformation of the form 1k01 represents a share of n units or k units parallel to the x-axis. So a share of 2 units parallel to the x-axis. That is what we have here. Note, a share parallel to the y-axis is given by 10k1, a share of k units. So our answer here is C. 47. Given the frequency distribution table with variable x and corresponding frequency f, the median is. For a frequency distribution table, to obtain the median, we first of all have to look for the total frequency, which is 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 is equal to 8. And here the median is between the 4th and the 5th positions, since we have even number of scores. So the median occurs at the middle position. At the middle position, we have, or at the 4th position, we have 2, because 2 occurs 4 times, so 2, 2, 2, 2. The 4th position is 2, and the 5th position is 3. So the median is 2 plus 3 divided by 2, giving us 2.5. Or since the scores are few, we can write them out as shown. This will better explain it. So you have 2 occurring 4 times, 3 twice, 5 once, and 6 once. The median occurs between the 2 and 3 as shown on screen, the yellow bar. So at the boundaries, you have 2 and 3. So the median will be the average of these 2. That is 2 plus 3 divided by 2, giving us 2.5. The key is B. Question 48. Given the frequency distribution table, the corresponding frequencies, the mean is given by, for an FDT, the mean is given by the total number, by the sum of the scores divided by the total frequency. So here we have 2 times 4 plus 3 times 2 plus 4 times 0 plus 7 times 1 divided by the total frequency, which is 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1. That gives us 21 on 7, which is equal to 3. So the mean here is 3. Question 49. The probability that it rains tomorrow is tilted. The probability that it does not rain is, these are complementary events. The probability that it does not rain is given by 1 minus the probability that it rains. And this is given by 1 minus 2 on 3, which is equal to 1 on 3. So the key here is A. And the last question, given the two mutually exclusive events M and N, where the probability of m is equal to 1/3 and probability of n is a half, then the probability that m or n occurs is given by. Note, for mutually exclusive events, the intersection of their probabilities, or the probability that m and n occurs, is 0 because the two cannot occur at the same time. So the probability of m union n should just be equal to probability of m plus probability of n. That gives us 1/3 plus a half, and looking for the LCM, which is 6. 6 divided by 3 gives us 2, plus 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and this gives us 5 on 6. So the key is D. Happy solving, and it was nice meeting you. This is the Cameroon GCE Maths Panel, and don't forget to subscribe for many videos that will be coming up. After this, we are going to publish the paper 2, which is still pending, and many people have been asking a lot of questions, and we are trying to see how we can upload it. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.